My name is Leonidas, king of Sparta. I was not born to sit upon a throne of comfort. I was born to carry the weight of men's hopes on my shoulders, to bleed for them when others would bow. They will tell you that glory belongs to the victors. But I have seen the truth. Glory belongs to those who refuse to kneel, even when the earth itself trembles beneath an empire. Look into my eyes, and you will see what I saw at Thermopylae, the narrow pass where 300 Spartans stood against a sea of Persia. It was the year 480 BC. Greece stood divided, proud city-states bound by language but torn by pride. Athens ruled the seas, Sparta ruled the land, and beyond the Aegean, an empire gathered like a storm. Xerxes, son of Darius, commanded a host beyond counting. From every corner of his dominion they came. Persians, Medes, Egyptians, Babylonians, marching not for conquest alone, but for vengeance. 10 years before, his father's armies had fallen at Marathon. Now Xerxes swore to erase Greece from the world. Bridges of ships spanned the Hellespont. Canals were carved through mountains so his fleet could glide where none had sailed. The earth trembled beneath his legions. Their campfires mirrored the stars. Fear spread through the cities. Many bent the knee, offering earth and water, tokens of submission. But not Sparta. Our walls were not of stone, but of men, trained from birth to hold the line. And at their head stood their king. When Persia's messengers demanded surrender, I gave them my answer. If Xerxes wants Greece, let him come and take her. When the council met, I spoke plainly. The Persian king was already crossing into Greece, an empire moving like a tide of iron. We could not wait for him to come to us. We had to choose the ground where his numbers meant nothing. But Sparta was bound by sacred law. No army could march during the festival of Carnea. So I offered myself and 300 of my finest, not as an army, but as a guard to Greece. Fathers all, men with sons to carry their names, who knew that death is not defeat, but duty fulfilled. Their wives gave no tears. A Spartan woman sends her husband to war with only one command: return with your shield, or on it. We marched north through rock and dust, past valleys and silent towns, until the mountains met the sea at Thermopylae, the hot gates, a place so narrow that only a few men could stand abreast, a place where courage might weigh against an empire. We made camp beside an old wall. The men sharpened their spears in silence, and far to the north, a cloud of dust rose against the dawn. The storm was coming. At dawn, a mist hung over the sea, cold and heavy. From beyond the northern hills came a sound like distant thunder, drums, thousands of them. Then we saw them. The Persian host poured into view, an ocean of men and banners stretching to the horizon. Their armor caught the light and turned the valley into a field of fire. Spartans do not tremble. They measure, they wait, and they strike. Arrows filled the skyline, blackening the sun. We raised our shields and the storm fell upon us. The sound was deafening, the hiss of arrows, the clang of bronze, the cries of the wounded. But when the shadows passed, we were still standing. I gave the signal, and the phalanx moved forward as one. Spears lowered, shields locked. When bronze met flesh, the sound was like trees breaking in a storm. We drove them back, step by step, our formation grinding through their ranks. By midday, the Persians pulled back. I told my men, remember this sight. No army, however vast, can break a man who fights beside his brothers. The morning came with no song of birds, only the groan of the wounded and the whisper of the sea. The air was thick with smoke from burning pyres. The wind shifted, carrying with it the stench of death. The Persians had fallen back during the night, but we knew they would return. An empire does not retreat, it regathers. By midday, we heard the drums again, a deep, steady pulse rolling down the mountains. The new wave came, fresh troops, countless as before, their banners black with soot. And leading them were the immortals, Xerxes' chosen guard, 10,000 strong. Men who were said never to die, for each one who fell was replaced before his body struck the ground. They wore armor of woven silk and carried spears tipped with silver. They believed themselves untouchable. I told my men, then let us touch them. The battle began with a roar that shook the cliffs. The immortals advanced, their shields flashing in the sun, their voices joined in a single, terrible chant. We met them head-on. The narrow pass funneled them again, stripping them of their numbers. Their ranks collided with ours, and the world became a storm of bronze and bone. Their arrows struck our shields like rain, but our line did not move. When one spear snapped, another replaced it. When an arm grew tired, the man behind took his place. Each time the immortals pressed forward, they met the same wall, unbroken, unyielding, alive. When silence returned, I turned to my men. Their faces were black with soot, their arms streaked with sweat and blood. But their eyes burned with the fact of those who have seen the impossible and refused to yield to it. That night, as the stars came out over the mountains, we lit no fires. The wounded slept where they fell. The sea was calm, the air still, as if the world itself were holding its breath. I knew Xerxes would not accept what he had seen. No king of Persia could. He would find another way. The third night fell cold and still. The camp was quiet, the sea whispering against the shore beyond the pass. Then came the sound of hurried footsteps in the dark. A Phocian scout fell to his knees before me, gasping for breath. He spoke of a hidden path, a narrow trail through the mountains that wound behind our position. A traitor had shown it to the Persians. Ephialtes, a Greek who had once sought to join us, but could not bear the discipline, the hardship, the life of a soldier. He had gone to Xerxes instead and sold us for gold. I felt no anger, only clarity. Every stand ends the same way, not in noise, but in understanding. The Persians would come from behind before dawn. We were surrounded. At first light, I gathered the allied commanders. The Thespians chose to stay. The Thebans would remain under protest, bound by necessity rather than conviction. The others I sent away. Go, I told them, and tell the story. Greece will need every sword in the days to come. But here, the stand is ours. The air grew colder as the night passed. Beyond the cliffs, the faint rhythm of Persian drums began to echo through the darkness, slow, certain, and drawing closer. Our last morning was coming. Dawn broke over the hot gates in a blaze of crimson. The sky itself seemed to burn, as if the gods wished to paint our ending in fire. The Persians were already in motion, pouring through the pass from both sides, the front and the mountain trail behind us. The trap was closed. We formed our line one last time. 300 Spartans, 700 Thespians, and the few Thebans who remained. The first wave came before the sun had cleared the cliffs. Arrows hissed through the air, and the sky darkened once more. We raised our shields and pressed together, the clang of bronze on bronze echoing through the pass. When the arrows stopped, the infantry surged forward, spears and swords flashing like water in the light. I met them head-on. The shock of impact rattled through my arm and down to my bones. Every thrust, every block, every cry of pain became one endless rhythm. Life reduced to motion, sound, and breath. There was no fear left in me, only the instinct to fight until there was nothing left to fight with. The Persians died in droves, their bodies piling around us, choking the pass once again. But this time there was no relief, only the weight of inevitability. The mountain path behind us had been taken. We could see their banners cresting the ridge above, glittering in the sun. We were surrounded. The line began to bend. I called for the men to fall back, not in retreat, but to higher ground. A small hill near the center of the pass. We gathered there, shoulder to shoulder, our backs to the sea. The air was thick with smoke and dust. My shield was split, my spear cracked. I drew my sword. They came at us from every side. Persians, Medes, immortals. Their war cries filled the air, but ours were louder. We fought with the fury of men who had already accepted death. Every strike was final, every movement deliberate. A Spartan dies standing. I do not remember the blow that brought me to my knees. Only the dust rising, the taste of salt and iron in my mouth, and the sun breaking through the smoke. I lifted my head and saw my brothers still locked in combat, surrounded but unbroken. Their silhouettes were outlined in fossil and dust, gods carved in mortal flesh. As my strength faded, I thought of Sparta, of my wife, my son, my city. And I smiled, because I knew that what we had done here would echo beyond our deaths. The Persians would win this ground, but they would lose something greater. They would learn that free men do not kneel. The last thing I remember was the sea, its waves crashing faintly beyond the din, eternal and uncaring. And then, silence. I am Leonidas, and this was the Battle of Thermopylae. Remember it well, for empires rise and fall, but the courage of free men endures. We stood not for conquest, but for the right to live and die on our own terms. If you would walk with me through more battles, if you would see the world through the eyes of those who refused to kneel, then stay with us, for the story of men like us is far from over.